sleep, Mama Rojo, until your children come home.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. Yes, all the color's gone out of it because it doesn't get any more deep into the colorlessness of Gullus than week 3. Good news is, just a few more days, and we're out of it for this year. This year, week 3, all 9 days of it, we had a little bit of a break from the misery. For Shabbos, thank God. It brought to mind an old story. By the way, parents, make sure you listen to this one first before the kids hear it, because it's about this old boy who dies and goes to hell. And for some reason or another, whatever he managed to do or not do in his life, he got to pick his assignment. And so he's taken a tour with the touring demon, and he sees the flames, and he sees the water, and the ice, and all that standard stuff. And finally they come across a bunch of folks standing waist deep in, this part I was concerned about the kids, because fill in your favorite word or words for just really nasty, smelly, yeah. And he looks at this, and he's all, well, it's pretty funky, but it's not the flames. I can put up with this. So tells Demon, I think I'll stay here. It's okay, fine. So he wades in, gets adjusted to the, it is after all now. Starting to get acquainted with his neighbors when in comes the demon who runs this little operation and walks up and says to all and sundry, all right, you lot, brace over, back on your heads. All right, you lot, breaks over, back on your heads. The most insidious part of this long and bloody, as we call it, Gullus Edom, the exile of the Romans, is the seemingly everlasting, virulent, malignant disease known generically as anti-Semitism, and more specifically as anti-Jewish hatred, because Arabs are, after all, technically Semites. Now, I had initially planned, until this very morning, a segue into something that's been in current events here on the East Coast. Basically, it's like, why do we sometimes just bring it on ourselves? Because we are told that both temples were brought down because the Jewish people became corrupt. This was just going to be as suitably dark as is appropriate for Tisha B'Av, but I want to thank a very special friend here in town, Rav Shimon, stopped me on the way back from an errand this morning and gave me not the problem, but a solution. And the solution, once again, should have known, is coming from my longtime hero, Rabbi Yosef Langer of San Francisco, California. Shown here in that classic photo with the mitzvah bike. I always meant to ask him if Jim Marshall shot that. It just has that Jim Marshall look to it. Rabbi Langer, as a long story and an endless series of inspirations, he got sort of tagged as the father of kosher rock back in the radio days because he had been early on, and always has been, very much involved with the youth and with the musicians. And his relationship with Bill Graham has been just a wonderful thing for the outreach. He's been at this about 35 years. But Chabad rabbis don't slow down. They don't retire. Our Rebbe, the guy that everyone talks about is the Rebbe, this was a man who was 90 years old, and he would be on his feet 12, 14 hours a day every Sunday, handing out those dollar bills with blessings and greetings. Age and gravity don't apply to Chabad rabbis, and they certainly don't to Rabbi Langer. He has become, through some way or another, affiliated with the San Francisco Giants. They call him the Rally Rabbi. And when the Giants get behind, which every Dodgers fan, of course, thinks they deserve to do, put the camera on him. They put him up on the scoreboard so the Rally Rabbi can blow the shofar to help the Giants. And it has become, I'm told, quite the thing back home in San Francisco. So they had a bobblehead night at Pac Bell Park. And I don't know what the variety was, if they had a lot of them, if they only had one, but according to my source, the number one bobblehead of the night was, you guessed it, Rally Rabbi Langer. Thank you, Rabbi Langer. Thank you for being part of the solution once again. Thank you for being, as always, an endless stream of inspiration. Y'all, guys like this could bring Mashiach. Now this. There is a famous story about Rabbi Akiva and his colleagues touring the still smoldering ruins of the Second Temple. Of course, they tore their clothes. They went totally into mourning, as we have been doing here on this last week, all 9 days of it. Oh, by the way, in case I neglected to mention, we have some special rules for those of y'all doing the 9 days for the first time, or like not Jewish and not knowing what we do here. No meat, no music, no fun of any kind. But now we have added in no clean clothes, no bathing. In the summer, 9 days. Whew. We did, of course, get the exemption for Shabbos. Anyway, Rabbi Akiva and his colleagues touring the still smoldering ruins of the temple. They were justifiably distraught until Akiva saw a fox darting across an opening. And he broke into song and started to dance as if it was his son's wedding. Akiva was pushing the century mark and had been under a terrible amount of pressure of late. It would be surprising if the old boy snapped. No, no, he said. I'm still dancing, still singing, by the way. No. And he said the quote, that foxes will dart across the ruins of the temple, but then we will rebuild. The third temple will stand forever. And why Rabbi Akiva was dancing and singing is the first part of the prophecy had been fulfilled. Therefore, as he said, the second part is only a matter of time. Been a long time. Still goes. Goes. Shift now. Easy fast, y'all.